The original Canon 6D and the 5D Mark III. Both of these cameras came out in 2012, so they're pretty old, and they use much older technology than their more modern counterparts. And because of this, many professionals are selling their old camera bodies and upgrading, which means that you can buy a second-hand refurbished 6D or 5D Mark III for a pretty decent price. And this is opening the door for many more people to get their hands on affordable full-frame systems. So if you're in the market for one of these cameras and are wondering which one's for you, then hang around, because in today's video we'll be going through the specs, the pros and the cons, and ultimately hope to help you decide which one of these is best for you. Welcome to Kai Creative and welcome to another review video. My name is Kai Song and I'm a filmmaker, animator and all-round visual creative, and today we're looking at these two legendary cameras. Now, I've used both the 6D and the 5D Mark III extensively for a wide range of different projects for quite a few years now, and I've already done separate review videos for both. So I'll put links to those down in the description below. Interestingly, one of the main questions that I get asked a lot on both of those videos is, should I buy a Canon 6D or a Canon 5D Mark III? And this question is mainly from people who are looking to switch to a full frame system from their crop frame cameras without spending over $1,000. So let's jump into it. First of all, let's talk about one of the most attractive features of these two cameras, which is the price. The cost of the 5D Mark III when it was released in March of 2012 was $3,499 in the US and £2,999 in the UK. And today you can buy a second-hand one on eBay for around $600 to $1,200 or about £500 to £1,000, depending on the condition. And the cost of the 6D when it was released in November of 2012 was $2,099, which is about £1,700 in the UK. And today you can buy a second-hand one on eBay for around $400 to $1,000, which is between around £400 to £800 in the UK. Again, it's very dependent on the condition and how many accessories you get with it, but both massively more affordable than when they were released. So let's move on to design. Now, both of these cameras have been built extremely well. They both have the dust and drip proofing protection that Canon offers around control buttons and along outer cover seams to protect your camera in difficult weather conditions. The 5D Mark III has a magnesium alloy body, which makes it lightweight and strong. The 6D's body is also built around a magnesium alloy shell, although the top plate is polycarbonate, which is a strong plastic. Both of these cameras feel great in the hand, and of course you have the familiar button placement for all of you Canon users out there. However, the Canon 6D only has a single card slot, while the 5D Mark III has dual SD and CF card slots, excellent for those of you looking to take it out for a professional photo shoot. Both have inputs for microphones, making them useful for filmmaking and videography projects, but only the 5D Mark III has a headphone input. Read into that what you will. Now, when it comes to weight, the 5D Mark III comes in at 950 grams, while the Canon 6D weighs in at 770 grams. It might not sound like much of a difference overall, but after a long shoot day, you might find the 6D much more forgiving than the 5D Mark III, especially if you have them hanging around your neck all day or hanging off your arm. The full frame sensors are probably one of the main reasons, if not the sole reason, you'd consider getting one of these cameras today. The Canon 6D has a slightly smaller sensor at 20.2 megapixels, that's 2.1 million pixels fewer than the 5D Mark III, which has a 22.3 megapixel sensor. Although this doesn't seem to affect the ISO range as much. The 6D has a standard ISO value that goes all the way from 100 to 25,600, which is expandable down to 50 and up to 102,400. And the 5D Mark III has exactly the same standard ISO values, but slightly more expandable values, down to 50 and up to 102,800. So not much difference there. Where the 5D Mark III really overtakes the 6D are with the focus points. The 5D Mark III boasts a 61-point AF system, 41 of which are cross-type, while the Canon 6D only has 11 autofocus points and only one of those is a cross-type. When it comes to photography, you have a shutter speed of 6 FPS on the 5D Mark III and 4.5 FPS on the Canon 60. When it comes to video, the 5D Mark III offers a maximum resolution of 1920 by 1080, that's full HD 1080p at 24, 25 and 30 frames per second. It also offers 720p, which allows you to shoot at 50 and 60 FPS, and the Canon 60 offers exactly the same recording quality. Now they both use Canon's old Digic 5 image processing, and neither has dual pixel autofocus, a native 4K video, or a touch screen. Remember, this is 2012 technology we're talking about here. However, something that has kept filmmakers hooked on the 5D Mark III for years is the ability to install Magic Lantern, which gives you the option to shoot in near 4K quality and gives you a ton of other options as well. This has definitely helped to future-proof the 5D Mark III, meaning that many filmmakers still use it regularly for their creative projects. Now that's not to say that the 60 is completely in the shadow of the 5D Mark III. Some of the benefits of the 60 are built-in Wi-Fi functionality and GPS, which the 5D doesn't include natively. You can get these installed, but you need to purchase some pretty pricey accessories for that privilege. Also, when it comes to dynamic range, the DxOMark.com puts the Canon 60 at a landscape score of 12.1 EV, and the 5D Mark III at a score of 11.7 EV. So actually, the 60 outperforms the 5D Mark III in this category too. So, after throwing all of these specs at you, what exactly should you be looking at purchasing? Well, after using both of these cameras for a few years now, here's my personal opinion. First up, the 6D. It's great as a first-time full-frame camera, especially if you want to make the jump from crop frame. That Wi-Fi functionality is especially useful for those of you who want snaps up on your phone that you can then put onto Instagram and other social media networks. The person I envisage getting one of these cameras today would be a photography enthusiast or hobbyist, Instagrammers, social media influencers, and travelers who want to up their photography game, as well as those who want to get into filmmaking as a hobby. I also know a few part-time photographers who use this camera for headshots and wedding photos, and their shots still look amazing. And in the past, I've even used this camera as a B-cam for some events myself. But I wouldn't take it with me for a professional job as a sole camera, or even nowadays as a B-cam. However, I still do use it when I go abroad as a travel camera. Because it's so robust, you can throw it around a little bit here and there and not worry too much about it getting damaged. The 5D Mark III is the photographer's workhorse, with all those focus points as well as dual card slots for peace of mind that your client work is backed up on the go. It's also the go-to camera for indie filmmakers, with the ability to shoot in RAW after installing Magic Lantern. It's still the camera that many professionals use to film and photograph weddings, corporate events and promo content. So if you're in the business and are looking for something reliable as a B-cam to support your main camera, then the 5D Mark III would definitely be a good consideration. So essentially how I view it is this: if you're going to be earning a living from your camera purchase, then go for the 5D Mark III. If you're looking at upping your photo or video game for social media, travel or as a hobby, then consider getting yourself a Canon 60. So I hope you found this content useful. Please like and share this video if you found it valuable. Subscribe to Kai Creative if you haven't done so already. Let us know if there are any cameras that you want us to review, or any videography or filming techniques that you want us to cover in the future. Just put those in the comment section below. In the meantime, guys, stay creative, imagine, implement and inspire, and I will see you next time on Kai Creative.